Norse seers who never left the fjords, Turkic shamans who never left the steppe, and Aztec priests who never left the Valley of Mexico all looked up at the sky and arrived independently at the exact same monster, a wolf hunting the sun that will one day finally catch it and swallow it whole, and with it, the world. No trade routes connected these people, no shared texts, no missionaries, no accident of contact, and yet the predator is the same. The chase is the same. The ending is the same. This is not a coincidence anyone has ever fully explained. This is a pattern, and once you see it, you cannot stop seeing it. Let's start where the myth is most complete, most brutal, most fully alive in the historical record. Iceland and the terrible Children of Loki. The gods knew before it happened. That's the part people forget. This wasn't a surprise. Odin himself, the All-Father, the seeker of hidden knowledge, learned through prophecy that Loki's monstrous offspring would one day be the instruments of the world's ending. There were 3 of them, born of Loki and the giantess Angerboda, and each was a walking catastrophe. Jormungandr, the serpent so vast he would one day encircle the entire earth, Hel, half alive and half corpse flesh, ruler of the dead, and Fenrir, a wolf that grew so fast, so monstrously that the gods themselves became afraid to feed him, so they did what frightened gods do. They decided to bind him. They tried chains first, real ones, forged by dwarves, the strongest metal Asgard could produce. Fenrir broke them like thread, almost bored. So the gods went to the dark elves and commissioned something stranger, a ribbon made from the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the breath of a fish, the spit of a bird. Things that do not exist, woven into something that could not be broken precisely because it should not have existed at all. They called it Gleipnir, thin as silk, unbreakable, but Fenrir was suspicious. He agreed to be bound only if one god would place a hand in his mouth as a pledge of good faith. Proof this wasn't a trick. Every god hesitated. Every god knew what this meant, except Tyr, the god of law, of oaths, of courage that costs something real. Tyr placed his hand between Fenrir's jaws. The ribbon held. Fenrir could not break it, and Tyr's hand was gone. That's the price the gods paid to delay the apocalypse by a few thousand years. Not defeat the wolf. Delay him, because the prophecy was never if, it was always when. At Ragnarok, the binding fails. The chain that held the end of the world snaps, and Fenrir runs free with a hunger that has been building since before memory. He kills Odin, the All-Father himself, devoured. And while that happens on the battlefield of the gods, above them, something even older finally finishes its work. Skirl, Fenrir's monstrous kin, a wolf who has chased the sun chariot across the sky since the dawn of time itself, finally closes the distance. He has been running behind the sun every single day of the world's existence, and on the last day, he catches it, and he swallows it. The world does not end in fire first, it ends in darkness. The sun goes out because something ate it. Now hold that image. Chase, delay, inevitability, darkness, because thousands of miles east, on the open steppe, with no ships, no roads, no possible contact with Scandinavia, the Turkic and Siberian peoples built their entire cosmology around the exact same predator doing the exact same thing. In Turkic and broader Siberian shamanic tradition, the wolf is not simply an animal, it is ancestor and apocalypse simultaneously. The totem beast that some Turkic clans claimed direct descent from, and also the sky predator that stalks the sun and moon across the heavens with the patient hunger of something that has been hunting since before humans existed. And here is where the structure locks into place with almost unsettling precision. Eclipses in this cosmology are not random shadow, they are rehearsals. Every time the sun or moon goes dark, it is because the sky wolf has caught up, has bitten down, has practiced the ending. The world survives because the wolf, this time, lets go. But shamans reading the sky understood. One day, it won't. Chase, near catch, release until the day it doesn't release. That is Skull's exact mechanic, running on a completely different mythological engine, built by people who never heard the name Fenrir. If patterns like this one are the reason you're still watching at this hour, subscribe now, because the next civilization on this list built the same ending out of jaguars and a dying sun, and the pattern doesn't stop at 2, cross the entire planet, forward in mythological time and backward in geography, to the Valley of Mexico, where Aztec priests watch the sky with the same dread, expecting the same fate, framed through entirely different cosmic architecture. The Aztecs believed they were living under the 5th sun, a sun that had already been born after 4 previous worlds were destroyed, and one that was itself prophesied to die. Circling this fragile, temporary sun were the Tsitsimimi, skeletal star demons, devouring forces tied to darkness and hunger, waiting for the moment the sky weakens enough for them to descend and consume everything, including the light itself. And what did the Aztecs believe was happening during a solar eclipse? Not shadow, not orbital mechanics, a bite. The sky monster sinking its teeth into the sun's living body, a preview of the true devouring still to come. Priests responded with urgency bordering on panic. Sacrifice, ritual, noise to frighten the devourer off, because if the monster wasn't interrupted, the eclipse might simply continue, might finish. 3 civilizations, 3 unrelated symbolic systems. 1 predator, 1 structure, a hunter that stalks the sun across time, an eclipse that functions as evidence, a rehearsal bite, and an ending in which the chase finally, permanently succeeds. So sit with the question, because I don't think it has a comfortable answer. Why a wolf? Why this exact architecture of chase, near miss, eclipse as warning, final swallowing? One possibility is psychological. That the wolf is humanity's oldest shared nightmare, the nocturnal predator that stalked our ancestors on nearly every continent we settled, so deeply encoded in us that when we needed a shape for cosmic dread, the wolf was simply already there, waiting in the dark part of the brain. The other possibility is stranger, and I don't think we should dismiss it just because it's uncomfortable. That there was a real event, a solar catastrophe, an eclipse so total, so terrifying, so world-darkening, that it burned itself into the collective memory of scattered human populations before they ever separated, and resurfaced later, independently, as myth. I'm not going to tell you which one is true. I'm not sure anyone can. What I can tell you is that the mechanics line up with disturbing precision. Fenrir's lineage, monstrous, prophesied, feared before he was even dangerous, mirrors the Turkic wolf's dual nature as both ancestor and ending. Skull's eternal chase behind Soul's chariot mirrors the eclipse as rehearsal logic of both the steppe shamans and the Aztec priests watching the sky bleed light. Ragnarok's fixed, inescapable prophecy, the gods binding Fenrir not to stop the end, only to delay it, mirrors the Aztec certainty that the 5th sun would die exactly as the 4 before it had. Every system independently built, delay, rehearsal, and inevitable devouring into its architecture of the end. 3 operating systems, 1 engine underneath. So I'll leave you with this because I genuinely don't have the answer. Is this convergent human psychology? The wolf simply being the shape fear takes wherever humans exist? Is it inherited memory of something that actually happened to the sky once, long before any of these civilizations had names for themselves? Or is it evidence of something the rational modern frame was never built to hold? A pattern too precise, too consistent, too widespread to be accident, and too old for us to ever fully verify? I don't know. Nobody does. That's the part that keeps me up.